they're like, oh, wow, she really know what she's talking about. But I said to myself, this should be the standard.
You used to play professional football, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. It was in Germany and in Italy. Actually, I started to play football when I was 3 years old because my cousin and me, we were very close to each other because our parents had a restaurant, so they were very busy.
Yes.
And my cousin didn't have a brother with whom playing football. So the next one was me.
Yeah.
And he was the one, actually, I really say this very often, that brought me to football. And so I have to say thank you to him for everything that happened afterwards, so my career as well, because football taught me a lot. It was like I wanted to become a professional football player, was one of my dreams when I was 5 years, so 6 years old. And my Italian parents said no. Back then, it was not that usual that little girls or women were playing football. They didn't want me to play in a club. There was a coach watching me play in the backyard.
Yeah.
And he saw me and he came to me and he was like, wow, you're very talented. So do you play in some clubs or are you somewhere? And I was like, actually, I just love to play football and I play in the streets, but my parents don't want me to play football. And he was like, can I talk to your parents? I was like, well, you can try. I'm trying for years now, but I don't think you can move anything. And he was like, no, I'll come by to drink a coffee and then talk to your parents. And that actually was my start of my football career at 10 years old. And then everything took his pace. Like I was in a DFB Elite Schule, is called. It's like a sports school where only football players are. I trained with the boys of 1. FC Nürnberg because I grew up in Nürnberg in Bavaria. When I was 16 years old, I did my first professional appearance for back then Kreisheim in Bundesliga. And then with 18, when I finished school, I went to Italy to play with Verona in Serie A and Champions League. And with 20, I decided to stop playing football.
At 20?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So you got to play Champions League football. Who did you get to play against in the Champions League?
Birmingham City was my very first match.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. It was in Birmingham. I can't remember. It was in Birmingham, actually. That was my very first Champions League appearance in Birmingham.
Oh, I'm so sorry that's the case.
That was okay for me. It was exciting anyways.
Of all the places in Europe you had to go to, you had to go to Birmingham in England. I'm so sorry. So how come you finished playing football at 20? Was it an injury? Did you get bored?
No, actually it wasn't an injury. It was like I was there in Italy after finishing my school, So I had my very first thoughts about my future. So what do you want to do after your school? I said to myself, I want to play 1 year just playing football. I want to enjoy. I want to do this. And I want to just relax for the very first time in my life and focus just on one thing because, being on an elite sports school in a national team and playing football in your club is like very time expensive. So I had a very strict schedule for years. And I said to myself, now I really want to just enjoy football. But then after 1 year, I want to decide maybe what to study, go to university. Besides your football career, what do you want to do? And it was like there were a few players in my team at the age of 30, 35 that has played everything that you can imagine, like World Cups, European Championship, Champions League, Serie A, Coppa Italia. They were international players and their contract wasn't extended at the age of 35. And then they were standing like in front of a big question mark, because they hadn't learned anything besides football because you didn't really have the time to do anything else. And you don't earn that much money in women's football still, and back then it was even worse, that you can have enough money after your career to enjoy and relax and be laid back. So this really was kind of an alarm signal for me because I said to myself, I don't want to end like this. Yeah. Because I don't have done that much in school also because I was always a good student.
Yeah.
To then being at the age of 30 and 35 and don't know what to do with my life. So I said to myself, I really love football. I want that there's some women in TV or in women's or men's football business that really intend and are really capable of talking about football, being really good players in this business. So I said to myself, I want to study journalism and I want to become the first woman in Germany. When people see me in TV, they say, hey, she really does know what she's talking about.
And that's why you're on the podcast now, because I knew exactly what you were talking about. But when you were on Sky Sports recently as well, speaking about Moussa Diaby, Jude Bellingham, etc., I was like, yeah, she knows her stuff. I need to get her on the podcast because she can educate me a lot more on Bundesliga football.
And that's the biggest compliment for me, because really I get a lot of feedback when people are like surprised.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. But I say to myself, this should be the standard.
Absolutely.
I want more little girls or more young women playing football, taking this risk or having the courage to do this step. I mean, it still isn't easy as a woman in a male-dominated industry, for sure. But we need more of that. And
Absolutely.
I think there are more of me, but maybe just some don't have the courage that I had. So I really want to be, like an inspiration also.